breast cancer is a growth of abnormal cells that occurs in the breast. Any cancer is really just cells that are growing out of control in one particular site that have basically stopped listening to the body's natural mechanisms of control. What we see when cancer develops is that the first stage of development is something that we call hyperplasia, which basically just means too much cell growth. That can occur either within the ducts in the breast or the lobules. Lobules are the part of the breast where milk is produced, and ducts are sort of the tubes that take the milk to the surface of the breast. The next step in development of cancer is what we call atypia, or atypical hyperplasia. When we see that within the duct or the lobule, what that is that the cells are growing too much, but also now the cells are starting to become abnormal. The next step is what we call non-invasive cancer or carcinoma in situ. And the most common type of that is DCIS, ductal carcinoma in situ, which occurs within the ducts of the breast. But the important distinction there is that the cells haven't gained the ability to leave that structure. They stay within the duct. When we have invasive cancer, what that means is that the cancer cells have broken through the duct and are spreading within the breast itself, and that's what we call invasive cancer. And that distinction is crucial because once the cells have gained the ability to leave the duct, they can actually leave the breast because they've stopped listening to the mechanisms within the body that tell them basically to stay put. And so really that distinction between non-invasive or in situ cancer and invasive cancer is the ability of that cancer to spread throughout the body. And it's when cancer spreads distantly that it really becomes life-threatening. So breast cancer is staged like all solid cancers from stage 0, which is a non-invasive cancer, to stage 4, which is a cancer that's spread to other organs. A stage 1 cancer is a small, generally less than 2 centimeter cancer that has not invaded into the lymph nodes. Stage 2 are larger cancers or ones that have gone into the lymph nodes. Stage 3 are much more extensive within the breast or lymph nodes. And then stage 4 cancers are those that have spread outside the local area to distant organs. The other factor that we look at when we're determining therapy for breast cancer is we look at certain receptors. And again, that's information that the pathologist gives us when they look at the actual tumor under the microscope. There are 3 receptors that we look at in breast cancer. 2 are hormone receptors, which are estrogen receptor and progesterone receptor. And the third is a receptor called HER2. The reason why we look at hormone receptors is that cancers that express hormone receptors will tend to be stimulated by hormones that normally circulate in a woman's body. And those are mainly estrogen. And the reason why that's important is that we can use medicines that will either block the estrogen receptor or suppress a woman's level of estrogen in her body, decrease the amount of circulating estrogen. And those therapies are very effective for treating a breast cancer or preventing a recurrence of the disease. And that's important because those medicines are pills that you can take daily. And then there's another subtype of breast cancer called triple negative, which means that it does not express either of the hormone receptors and does not express HER2. With a triple negative breast cancer, because we can't use hormone therapy and we can't use HER2 targeted therapies, really the mainstay of our treatment in terms of medical oncology is to use chemotherapy. So it's important to know that if somebody has something in the breast that really looks like an infection, but it doesn't get better with antibiotics, that could be an inflammatory breast cancer and needs further workup. That's a very rare subtype, less than 5% of breast cancers. And the hallmark of that is that the breast actually looks inflamed. And really what's happening there is that there's cancer cells invading throughout the skin tissue. It's a very much more aggressive type of cancer and one that we really have to treat quite aggressively.